police in Las Vegas found themselves in the middle of a UFO mystery last month after
It was big eyes. They have big eyes.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal? Or?
One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
What sign? I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, look right at him.
Okay, hang on.
He's right.
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
Mythical Legends Podcast with your host Daniel Barnett.
Welcome to the Mythical Legends Podcast. Today we have a special co-host today, and she's been on our podcast before. Co-founder of Project Zoobook, team member of the Olympic Project Bigfoot research team, winner of the Dedicated Researcher of the Year Award 2018, and the 2020 Bigfoot Community Choice Female Researcher of the Year, Amy Boo. Hi, Amy.
Hello, I'm so happy to be back.
Amazing. And also today we have an amazing Bigfoot witness. She is a historian and a tour guide. Please welcome Vera.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you for spending time with me today. How are you?
Well, I'm a little bit tired. I'm still working, so.
Oh, we caught you on your break. Amazing.
That's okay.
So, Vera, where are you based?
Near Lisbon. I'm from Sintra. I don't know if you know Sintra and Cascais. In the best place of, where we have a lot of legends and myths.
Yeah. Could you tell our listeners a little bit about you?
So I'm an archaeologist. That's my first area, and a historian. I'm doing the last thing, the master degree in archaeology also. And I do a lot of investigations about legends and myths in Portugal and Spain. And I already have 6 books, all in Portugal, all in Portuguese, of course, about those investigations.
Mm-hmm. It must be amazing to hear some of the witness reports and the investigations that you do.
Especially because I always say to everyone, the tour guides that are about the legends and myths, that we cannot say to anyone that it's telling us their own story about something they saw that it's not true, because even if it's not our true or we never see it, it doesn't mean that the other person doesn't see something. So, and what we see in all these years is that there's a lot of people seeing weird things all around Iberia, in this case, Portugal and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important, Vera, that you validate people and what they're saying to you, because I think sometimes that doesn't always happen. So I appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
So, could you tell us about your YouTube channel?
I was giving free classes in the senior university, also about legends and myths, and of course they don't really want to study, and they asked me to do a YouTube channel with the videos with those things. So I have one in Portuguese, but something happened to me connected with what we own, the Sasquatch, and so I have another one in it. I'm going to start it, the Travel by Vera Cardoso, and I'm going to try to show people a few weird things happen to me and other people that we really don't know how to explain. It's like our own truth. So can say if it's right or wrong, it's something like that.
What will that one be called in English? Do you know yet?
Uh,
A name?
and travel.
Okay.
In English, okay, and travel.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
I can't wait to hear it.
So, I know a little bit about you, but have you had any experiences with Bigfoot?
Yes, Daniel. So it was a little bit weird because during my all the years of that I was doing the investigation, I started in 2006, so almost 20 years. I always try to find some legends about giants in Iberia, and the only thing that appears to me it was in Basque Country, both Spain and France, and it was the Basahun, Sasquatch. In Portugal, there are a few things related, but people werewolves, not the kind of werewolves that you are used to. So it's like a man mixed with a wolf. It's a weird creature, and they don't really do any harm to people, but they scare them, of course, because they are huge. And the thing is that 2 years ago, I went to England to see my son. He was studying there, and uh, I was asking people about legends and myths from there, and they start to tell me a story about three men from there. They met what they call it the leaves man, similar, same thing like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Pasahun, the same. Uh, and so I have a little movie about that in Portuguese. I put in my channel, and then they told me about something that was two structures in the middle of the wood, big ones that no one knows who have put there.
Yeah, were these in the UK?
It's in the forest, Aylsham, in the south.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Can you tell us more about those creatures? Because over here, I'm from the United States, from Ohio,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
over here, people have experiences with something that they call dog man. So it's not
Okay.
really a werewolf, like you said, but I just really investigate Bigfoot, but I've always been a little curious about that and wonder if it's similar.
Well, same here. Okay, when I start hearing about dogmen, I start to think that it could be similar. Uh, they say it's a weird creature. It's like a mix of animals. It's huge, but the problem is this: they only appear at night, and really, the people that saw them, they are almost all of the people that I speak with. They have more than 70, 75, so they are old people. And those things happened when they were young. But if they still speak about those creatures, and they still say that there are people sawing them. So they just, it's a kind of a mix of a creature, like a man, a huge giant man. And it seems like it a huge werewolves that they don't really know what it is, because they can only see like the shadow, because it seems like it have like the wolves, or they mix it also with donkeys, or horses. It's a little bit weird because it's like the shape of a human creature, but I don't know. They said that it's totally weird, but it's all around Portugal, and even in Spain they also said that less like that, and it starts the middle of the border between Portugal and Spain. So Sierra da Gata. And so a few of them go to Spain, others go to Portugal. And people can point families or even can be that werewolf. That's the weirdest thing I heard about that. It's not like a creature that no one knows who it is. In this case, I interview people and they were not lying. That's the thing. I can see if someone is lying or not. It's everyone that has an investigation can, after a while, can see that. Uh, they can point people. It's totally weird, but everyone says different things. It's like a man with a few animals, and a wolf. I don't know what it is. I really don't.
And when you're saying everyone has a different opinion of Dogman,
Mhm.
that is goes for the same for Bigfoot with me, because I've interviewed quite a few, and they've all had a different opinion on Bigfoot, but it's still the same. The 8 foot tall bipedal ape, and I
Yes.
yeah, and I find that quite interesting that it's everyone has a different opinion, but a similar sort of wavelength. And yeah. Um,
Vera, why don't you tell us about one of your own experiences?
That's the weird part. You know, I never I always like the stories about the Sasquatch, but I never went to try to find some in here because I find out that when in Iberia they speak about giants, it's not the same kind of giants. And the only similarity was with the werewolf. 2 years ago, first in Aylsham, because I see the structure. I was like filming for 5 minutes and I start to feel very bad. And it seems like someone was there. I didn't see anyone and I just wanted to get out of there. That was something that I never think about in that day. I've never thought about Bigfoot or no. I just feel bad and went back home and never speak about it anymore. I speak with my husband. So, and then later we went to France and Pyrenees. And my husband, yes, he have his own channel in YouTube and he does a lot of investigation. Uh, and so one day, this case, in the Pineta Valley, that's a place where the people that live there, they speak about the Basahão, their own Sasquatch. He take me to and he explain me a little bit about the videos that he usually see on YouTube. So he knows everyone. I know almost anyone name. And he explained me that about the wood knocks, the now a lot of things. He was speaking with me, and I told him, so let's try it because we saw a few little structures there in the beginning of the forest, and he have done one in the tree, and I was like, I was doing what I'm always doing. So as I start, with my phone, and like 6 minutes after we have done that, we were just quiet. I hear a wood knock and didn't hear anything. And I said, okay, I'm going to stop the record and we are going to try again. I will start the record, and you are going to do like two wood knocks, or I don't remember, something like that, two or three. He didn't want it. He wanted to go back camping site where we were. The second time he have made the wood knock, he was talking with me for 21 minutes. Okay, and let me tell you one thing: we didn't hear anything at all, nothing there. And we went home a few days after, and we kind of forget the thing. And during those 21 minutes, he was explaining me everything about Sasquatch and what he knows about. And the thing is that we just kind of forget the record things. And we went there uh, in uh, in it was in January. Yes, in January this year. And so we saw something that seems like you know uh, a big footprint, and it reminded me about that uh, record that I have done, and decided to hear together in the computer and there, uh, in a way that we could hear everything, and something very, very weird happened, and we don't know why and how to explain. It's we have done in the beginning the wood knocks, then he starts speaking with me, and then like 9 minutes, around 9 minutes, is hear a lot of wood knocks. I hear something near my phone, because my phone was not near my face or my husband's face. I just leave the phone, and we hear that we still don't know what it is. It was like, imagine plane was coming down and then disappear, and the wood knocks stopped, and that lasts almost 1 minute. And you can be sure that I didn't hear anything at all in that day, me, anything at all. So it kind of scares me. And
Wow.
it's a little bit after we decided to do the channel, so he have a lot of information in his own channel, except the things that we decided to try to see if they to happen again. And the thing is that things are happen, and I really don't know how to explain. This is not like hearing someone saying that he saw a witch, a werewolf, the devil, whatever. No, no, no. This is something happens with me. And I kind of a scientific mind, so I always want to know why, how, and all of that. Even if I have always present in my mind that everyone have their own truth. So I believe in people when they say that something happened, something really happened.
Vera, Amy is also a scientist. I'm not, but to have everyone's opinion be different, but I think everyone likes to know the how, when, and I think that's what brings some of the mystery to this. Um, and one question that I did want to ask you: when you say tree structures, what what do you mean by them? What shapes were they?
Oh, it's like those. Well, we in Portugal we call it like Indian houses, like the tipis.
Mhm.
Uh, but the ones in Ailsham we already saw in Spain and in France. In Ailsham, they are very big. I asked my husband, no, my son is already there again, and I asked him to go try to see if it's still there and to take. because I could not do almost anything at all in the day that I went there. And but it was that exactly. And time for me, and what I've never heard about those kind of things. And then I have my husband opening YouTube and showing me the same, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It, it's weird.
It is weird. I'm not really a scientist so much, but I consider myself, or hopefully I am, a citizen scientist is what I say.
Mm-hmm.
A naturalist, a volunteer naturalist, but I I do agree that I also have a scientific mind, and I'm wondering, when I have somebody that shows me pictures of tree structures or stick structures, I always try to think of anything else that could have done it. But then every once in a while you have one that you can't figure that out. Is that how it is with you?
I've seen a lot, and a few we can see it's a man-made thing. The other are, it makes no sense, as even if we can say, well, it's a family doing something to kids to get in. No, they are dangerous, they can fall down, or they are made with huge old trees,
Mm-hmm.
but distinct that we can see a little bit. Of course, I cannot say for sure that it was like the Sasquatch or anything else. I don't know. But we always go around, try to speak with people from that area and try to understand if it was like the scouts or the families that have done that. And everyone says the same. When it's really someone doing, they say that. When it's not, they just say, well, I don't know, we don't know, and see,
I
just.
understand. Yeah, it's the same with me.
And Vera, the amount of witnesses that myself and other people have interviewed that I know, they've said a similar thing to what we're hearing now from you, and to think about these structures, tree knocks. Did you believe that these happened or exist before you heard and saw them?
I never saw. Because the thing is that my husband was always looking for that. I never paid attention because I was paying attention to other kind of creatures. And I was very happy to hear old people speaking about UFOs, and like the werewolves, something that we have in Iberia, that's Santa Campagna, so it's a dead thing, that's going around. And so I really never think about that. So I think what happened was this. My husband allows me to tell him what happened in England. He was not there with me. And I explained to him, and he kept quiet. And then 2 months later, we have done that. He just asked me a little bit. And after we just forget about that, before we go hear that, he showed me the video that I was doing about the leaves man, because I remember that he told me something like, I have someone speaking about the Sasquatch. Do you want to see it? And I said, yes, of course. And it video on YouTube. And I was like, what? And he just told me, can you hear what you are saying? Because I'm telling the story that it's in the newspaper of Aylsham about what happened to the three boys in the last century.
Your audio went out again, Vera. We appreciate you figuring it out each time.
Sorry.
No,
That's
it's
all right.
okay.
That's all right.
We understand. We're in 3 different countries, so it's still wonderful. So go ahead.
So I was telling you that no, I never really think about, the Sasquatch, and I didn't know anything at all about those things, the tree knocks, the structures, anything at all, anything. So, and that start to happen that I still don't know what it is, that I told you, Daniel, this afternoon, I'm still figure out what it is. And one day I will probably share with you, because it's the kind of things that when we are studying or investigation and we have that scientific mind, we start to think that we are probably crazy. Because the thing is that I never saw a Sasquatch, but I saw things um, in Spain, and like that in the middle of those things. And this after the wood knocks and everything. So just a few months ago, we go back there, and when you well, I don't know if you know, of course, it's weird. An image in my mind, and somehow a phrase passed through me, and it wasn't me. So I was wait I was in the street, I think I was speaking with someone in the first time that happened, and I was like, "What the hell? What is this?" And it's weird, because it's what happened was that I like a part of a body of something big, but I can only see like the legs and the foot, and covered, the skin were covered like, well, like the monkeys, for example. But the thing was, it was gray. It was, it have a silver color. And I just hear something like, we are everywhere. And, it's, I stay like, I don't know what to do. Even now, I don't know. I need to go back to the places, and we are going back in a few weeks, because it's the same. Understand why and what's happening. Why these things happen, and because I always hear saying that in my family and in the other cases, that when we look for something and we find that same something is going to find us. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes. And my opinion, nothing in the Bigfoot history is crazy until we prove that it wasn't right. So every witness, yourself, and every other witness that me or anyone else interviews isn't crazy, because we don't know the actual facts of this creature. So what you could be saying could be actual evidence that this creature exists. It's all a mystery, until let's say we find this creature. But some of the stuff that you are saying sounds really, really intriguing to me, and yeah. So I'm gonna move on to our next question. What is the most interesting thing that you've learned about Bigfoot?
Yes, the most interesting, right? It's their, for me, it was their capacity of disappear just that. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Even if I'm from archaeology, I always loved quantical physics, always. And so one thing that sometimes I try to learn a little bit about, it's like the universe, like if we have more than one universe in the same place. And that makes me think about that. And because that's something that I have since I was very young, very, very young. And I think that I start to think that if Sasquatch exists, and I kind of believe that he exists because of everything that it's starting to happen more and more. Probably whatever you wanted, and just next to us. Once more, I didn't saw or hear anything at all in that record. Was something, near my phone, and that I can hear in the record. So it's something, and I have an open mind for everything. I always have, I always will, and now what happened was that I kind of forget the rest of the studies that are something important for me. I don't know how to say it, because like the phrase, when I hear that in my head saying we are everywhere, I start to cry, and it was very, very, very weird. And
You're not the
they are
only one,
not.
Vera. I've talked to a lot of
Yeah.
people like that have had that happen. So you're not the only one. So don't feel that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Were you scared at that moment? Were you scared when you were hearing this?
No. The only time I was scared, it was in Aylsham, in the forest, when I see that structure. But I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything at all about that. But after that, it's like nothing scares me. Everything that still happens, it's, I don't know how to say. It is like, for me, it's something like us, It's not like dangerous things or anything at all. It's not. That's what I believe. I don't know.
So, moving on to my last question for you.
Okay.
What advice would you give someone who might encounter a Bigfoot?
Okay, so I not to run, not to try to harm them, not to kill them, and try them. When I say, I don't know if you understand my English, it's not perfect, but when I say see him, it's see really, what you have in front of you, everything, not only the body, but what it really is. Because I don't think that any bad thing is going to happen. I don't. I know that I start to hear stories about people that disappear and things like that. It could be a lot of things, but in my case, I would stop and I will try to silence, and I will look at him for sure. And so that's the advice that I give to everyone, because I don't know. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Amy, is there anything that you would like to say before we end this podcast?
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you so much for sharing. I really enjoyed everything that you had to say. I appreciate your open mind, especially as a scientist. It's hard to come by sometimes. I work with several scientists on a project that has to do with Bigfoot, and I just applaud you for being open to what you've experienced, because that makes you a better researcher to be open to what other people tell you that they've experienced. So thank you.
So Vera, again, I will thank you so much. And guys, I will see you in the next podcast. Keep searching and stay mythical.